Guitar Hero went away for a long time, didn't it? Because they repeated the formula, and that led to people becoming bored, which showed in the game's ever declining sales. So Guitar Hero Live has come along because all gaming can do now is dig up old corpses and try to sell them back to us, because ideas are about as rare as gold dust in this industry. Which leads Guitar Hero Live to, you guessed it, repeat the same formula so people who were bored of it are still bored, and this is shown in the game's poor sales. Do you see a pattern, games industry? It was only because of the recent price drop that I picked this up, and I used to really like Guitar Hero. I suppose it is unfair to say this game hasn't tried new things. The new cheap controller, for example, has 6 buttons spread across 2 rows, so it feels a bit more like playing the guitar. Then there's obviously the live footage, so it really feels like you're playing a live gig, in theory. The footage is jarring at best. When you're playing well, the fans will be cheering, worshipping you and that. But as you know, in Guitar Hero you can fuck up in mere seconds. So when you do this, the crowd are meant to start booing and chucking stuff. But when the game does a transition from good crowd to bad crowd, a weird blur appears on screen to mask the transition, and it's very off-putting. You know how a lot of games now feel like they were made by midlife crisis men trying to be cool? Well, that's exactly how Guitar Hero Live comes off. For example, before you come on stage, you get a little cutscene from the first person of you and the band preparing backstage, and some of the shit that comes out of people's mouths, as well as the things these bands do, is laughable. There's a set where you're playing as a pop punk band, there's a half pipe backstage, and you literally skateboard onto the stage. I piss myself laughing. While skateboarding and pizza consumption is used to stereotype as well as parodying pop punk, it really comes off like the devs thought it was cool. I honestly couldn't wait for the black metal band set. What were they gonna do? Slit the wrists and summon the devil before they go on stage? It's like none of the dev team have been to a gig, only got what they are like off films. The track list. Let me pose you this question. When you think of Guitar Hero, what do you think of? Strong guitar parts? Well, the main campaign in this game seems to have missed that. There's some ridiculously out of place songs in here, like Skrillex, where there's a tiny bit of guitar at the start of the track and then you're playing the synth part. Bands like Mumford & Sons aren't what I think of when Guitar Hero pops up. Nothing against them, but it doesn't fit in, I don't think. Also, a lot of the campaign tracks are repeating the same boring riff over and over and over. Don't get me wrong, there's some good ones in there, but it improves massively in the Guitar Hero TV mode, where there is a large variety of tracks unique to this mode. I'm not going to show footage of it because it uses the music videos of these songs, and as you know, YouTube's copyright system will have a field day with them. In this mode, you can tune into 2 different streaming channels, which at certain times have certain songs playing, like a music video TV channel, if you will. You play along to these random selections to earn gold coins, which you use to purchase play tokens. 1 token lets you play 1 song once. The idea is that these let you play any of the songs in the streaming library at any time. You can always use real cash instead to buy play tokens, because you know that 40 quid, 80 if you got it on release, just wasn't enough for Activision. Now here's my question. These tracks are already in the game in some form, right? So why not just put them in the career and quick play mode so we can play them as many times as we want? It could be that they wanted to place the majority of the great tracks in Guitar Hero TV so people will actually use this new innovation, as they call it. Or you could see it cynically like me and think, well, they clearly put the best tracks in with the microtransaction options in a callous attempt to take even more money from gamers. Your favourite track, to be fair, might appear when you go see what's playing at the time, and there is schedules. For example, at 7:30 at night, classic rock anthems might be playing, but the game doesn't tell you what tracks are featured in that playlist. I know the title Classic Rock Anthems gives it away a bit, but you know what I mean. You know what, I'm 800 words in and I haven't even talked about the gameplay. It's Guitar Hero, you know what you do, it's not changed in the slightest. Obviously the mixes for these songs are top notch, it really sounds like you're playing live, the crowd sing along, there's a nice reverb depending on the venue you're in, but I don't know what happened to Won't Get Fooled Again by The Who in this game. Either Pete Townshend was thinking about child porn rather than getting a good guitar takedown for that song, or someone cocked the mix up because it sounds terrible. I know innovating on a Guitar Hero game must be difficult to do, which is what led to its stagnation in the first place. It died for a reason, and it should have stayed that way. Resurrecting it was, I suppose, a noble idea, but repackaging old game mechanics, removing stuff, and adding microtransactions is stretching the word new a bit.